It's 6 a.m. in Hong Kong, and a frenzy is breaking out in front of Pop Mart. Grown adults push through a barricade. Some are live streaming. Others are here to flip a $29 toy for hundreds. This is Labubu. It stands about 3 inches tall, grinning like it knows something you don't. To the untrained eye, it looks like another collectible vinyl figure. But what you're looking at is a precision-engineered psychological weapon. Labubu isn't just a toy, it's a trigger. People don't just buy one. They hunt, trade, and obsess. On resale sites, Labubu flips for $200, $500, sometimes more. The rarest editions have gone for over $100,000. And it all started with a fairy tale-loving illustrator in Hong Kong. But behind the cute design is a dark strategy, one that hijacks your brain chemistry, your sense of identity, and your wallet. To understand how we got here, how a 3-inch monster became a billion-dollar addiction, we have to go back to where it all began, with an artist named Kassing Lung. Chapter 1. The Rise of a Cult Icon. Kassing Lung wasn't a marketing genius. He was an artist, a quiet illustrator from Hong Kong, inspired by the darker side of childhood. European fairy tales, Japanese yokai, and the strange corners of his own imagination. His sketchbooks were filled with twisted, whimsical creatures. One of them had long ears, needle-sharp teeth, and a mischievous grin. It looked like it was up to something. That character, he named it Labubu. Originally, Labubu was part of a larger universe Kassing called the Monster Family. These weren't just toys, they were stories. Each figure had a personality, a backstory, a mood. They felt alive. At first, Kassing printed small batches of vinyl figures for art toy collectors, the kind of niche hobby you'd only find in underground conventions or obscure internet forums. But that changed when Pop Mart entered the picture. Pop Mart was China's largest collectible toy company, and they didn't just make toys, they built obsessions. They saw Labubu, saw the fan reaction, and saw dollar signs. In 2018, they signed Kassing Lung and acquired rights to mass-produce the Monster Family. But here's the trick. They didn't just mass-produce Labubu. They blind-boxed it. You couldn't choose which figure you got. You had to buy, then open, and hope. Just like pulling a slot machine. Some were common, some were rare, and one was nearly impossible to find. That gamble paid off. The mystery turned into a game, and the game turned into a movement. Labubu began selling out everywhere, even though no one could predict what they were buying. Fans lined up before stores opened. Online drops crashed websites. Social media exploded with unboxing videos, trade groups, and resale listings. It didn't matter that the toys were small, around 3 inches tall. What mattered was the story behind them, the scarcity, the feeling of maybe next time. Kassing Lung had created the character, but Pop Mart had transformed it into a gold mine. What started as a fairy tale-inspired sketch had become the cornerstone of a billion-dollar empire. But how exactly did they pull this off? To understand that, we need to look deeper at Pop Mart itself and the psychological machinery it built to sell a toy that no one was allowed to choose. Chapter 2. Monetizing the Mystery. Pop Mart didn't invent the blind box, but they turned it into a science. Back in 2010, they were just a quirky gift store in Beijing. Fast forward a decade, and they're a publicly traded empire valued at over $8.5 billion. Their secret weapon? Turning toys into games of chance. At the heart of Pop Mart's model is the blind box, a sealed uniform package where you never know which character you'll get. It might be a common variant, or the rare limited edition secret figure that only shows up in 1 out of every 144 boxes. It's not just random, it's psychological warfare. The mechanic comes from gacha games, mobile apps where you pay real money to spin a virtual wheel. Maybe you win, maybe you don't. Either way, your brain gets flooded with dopamine from the anticipation. Pop Mart copied that formula, but brought it into the real world. Now, buying a toy wasn't about choice, it was about luck, and the moment they added scarcity into the mix, it became an addiction. Each Labubu series usually includes 12 to 13 designs, with one ultra-rare figure, sometimes even region-locked or limited to special events. That meant fans weren't just collecting, they were chasing, buying multiple boxes, trading in Facebook groups, even scalping entire shelves just to find the one. By 2020, Pop Mart was making so much money off this system that it launched an IPO on the Hong Kong Stock Exchange, right in the middle of a global pandemic. The company exploded in value. And Labubu? It was the star attraction. Blind boxes weren't the end of the game. They were just the beginning. Pop Mart rolled out a full network of vending machines across Asia where customers could try their luck 24/7. They released digital apps to track your collection and let you buy or trade, gamifying the entire ecosystem. And of course, the drops, limited edition releases, artist collaborations, festival exclusives, holiday specials. Every few weeks, a new Labubu appeared. Always different, always desirable. Each release had the same ingredients: low supply, high demand, no control. The result was chaos, sold-out stores, server crashes, hundreds of dollars spent chasing a $29 toy. Pop Mart had created a perfect loop of scarcity, uncertainty, and emotional reward. They weren't selling vinyl anymore. They were selling anticipation, and millions of people were hooked. The system worked because it exploited something deeper than just shopping habits. It tapped into human psychology, the need to collect, the fear of missing out, the thrill of maybe. And that wasn't an accident. It was the entire business model. Chapter 3. The Addiction Blueprint. Labubu may look like a harmless little toy, but beneath that plastic smile is a product that's been psychologically engineered to hijack your brain. Let's start with the design. Labubu's oversized eyes, round head, and tiny body activate something in our brains known as baby schema, a set of traits that trigger caretaking instincts. It's the same reason we love puppies, cartoon characters, or anything that looks like a baby animal. We're hardwired to feel attached, but emotional design is just the surface. The real manipulation starts when you try to buy one. Pop Mart built their empire using something psychologists call a variable ratio reinforcement schedule. It's the most addictive pattern of rewards, the same one that powers slot machines. Instead of a guaranteed outcome, you get random results. And that randomness is exactly what makes it addictive. The principle was first discovered by B.F. Skinner in the 1930s, when he placed pigeons and rats in boxes that dispensed food at random intervals. The animals pressed the levers obsessively, not because they were always rewarded, but because they might be. That maybe is what makes you keep going. Labubu blind boxes work the same way. You're not buying a specific figure, you're pulling a lever. The dopamine rush doesn't come from getting the toy. It comes from the moment before you open it. That hit of anticipation is the drug. Now add scarcity to the mix. Each series has 12 to 13 Labubu figures, but only one is a rare secret variant. Some appear in just one out of every 144 boxes. Others are exclusive to special events or regions. The result? Collectors can't complete their set unless they buy more, trade, or pay insane resale prices. Psychologists call this the endowed progress effect. When you've already started a collection, you feel pressure to finish it, even if that means spending hundreds or thousands of dollars to chase one missing figure. This transforms collecting into compulsion. And once people fall in, they form online communities to buy, sell, and trade. Entire ecosystems that reinforce the addiction under the illusion of connection. Sound familiar? That's because we've seen this before with Beanie Babies. In the 1990s, Beanie Babies became a global craze. They were cute, cheap, and supposedly collectible. People lined up outside stores, hoarded them in closets, and traded them like stocks. The resale market exploded. Some sold for thousands of dollars, until it all collapsed. Almost overnight, Beanie Babies went from hot investments to worthless plush. The hype faded, the market crashed, and the empire built on perceived scarcity vanished. The reason? Beanie Babies weren't designed to last. They were an accident of timing and mass hysteria, not an engineered system. But Labubu is different. This isn't an accident, this is a blueprint. Every mechanic, from the randomized blind box to the impossible odds to the endless new drops, is part of a controlled psychological loop. And every loop feeds Pop Mart's bottom line. The only real question now is how far can it go before it breaks? Chapter 4. The Turning Point. Hype takes over. At first, Labubu was a quiet obsession, a hidden gem among collectors. But all of that changed the moment money got involved. What was once a 29 figure started flipping for 300, then 500, then 1,000. And just like that, Labubu crossed a line, from toy to currency. Pop Mart's newest drops didn't just attract fans anymore. They attracted scalpers, people with bots, playbooks, and burner accounts. Entire Discord servers emerged to share drop times, resale estimates, and sniping software. It was no longer about finding your favorite character. It was about flipping inventory before breakfast. And the pressure? It was insane. Some collectors started camping outside stores 2 days in advance. Others bragged about bribing employees for early access. One guy claimed he paid someone $200 just to stand in line for him. Meanwhile, the rest of the fans were left empty-handed. Online, it was even worse. Raffles turned into lotteries. Thousands entered. Dozens won. The rest flooded resale sites, praying the price hadn't spiked overnight. And when that failed, desperation took over. Fights broke out in front of Pop Mart locations in China, Malaysia. Even the US people shoved, screamed, stole. One viral clip showed a man ripping a Labubu box from a teenager's hands. Another showed a woman tackled to the ground over a toy that fit in her palm. But what made this moment even darker was how people kept coming back. "I skipped rent to buy a case," one fan admitted online. "I thought I could flip the rare one and cover everything, but I didn't get it." Another said, "I stopped opening the boxes. If it's not the secret rare, it just ruins my mood. So now I just stack them." It was no longer about fun, or fandom, or even the toy. It was about the game. The thrill of the chase, the agony of missing out, the pain of pulling a duplicate, the heartbreak of watching someone else get the rare one. Pop Mart leaned into it. Drops got harder. Odds got worse. New rules, raffles, QR codes. Buying Labubu became a sport, and most people were losing. What had started as a sweet, fairy tale-inspired collectible had become a full-blown feeding frenzy. And for those who were deep in the loop, there was only one question that mattered: Labubu or rent? Chapter 5. Profits for the few. The people who love Labubu the most are often the ones who never get their hands on it. Why? Because before the average fan even gets to the store, resellers have already cleaned the shelves. These aren't just over-enthusiastic collectors, they're professional scalpers who know how to game the system. They show up early. They buy in bulk. Some even bribe employees for early access. And just hours later, the very same Labubu figures that sold for $29 at retail are posted online for $200, $500, sometimes more. And the rare ones? Those can hit 4 or even 5 figures on secondary markets. But here's the thing. The real value isn't in the figure. It's in the illusion of rarity. The artificial scarcity created by Pop Mart's controlled drops and secret variants fuels demand far beyond supply. And resellers capitalize on that desperation like vultures circling a fresh carcass. Platforms like eBay, StockX, and niche toy forums are flooded with flipped Labubu listings. Entire Discord groups exist solely to monitor release schedules and coordinate buyouts. The result? Fans, the people who actually care about the art, the story, the character, are priced out. They're forced into bidding wars with scalpers. Many give up. Some go into debt trying to stay in the game. And just like that, Labubu isn't about joy anymore. It's about scarcity-fueled status. Pop Mart, of course, benefits from this chaos. The resale hype feeds the primary market. People who see high resale prices assume the product is valuable, so they rush to buy the next drop, hoping to score a rare one and flip it themselves. It's a cycle, a closed loop, where manufactured scarcity drives demand, and demand justifies the scarcity. Limited edition collabs with big-name designers and seasonal drops only throw gasoline on the fire. These aren't created to meet demand. They're created to fall short of it, because when a product is hard to get, it becomes more desirable. And when it's desirable, it becomes profitable. But not for the fans, not for the collectors, and certainly not for the original artist. No, the profits go to scalpers, hype traders, and corporate marketers who've turned emotional attachment into financial leverage. Labubu isn't just a toy anymore, it's a financial asset, a speculative bubble, a high-stakes game, where the players are being played. Chapter 6. Addiction Goes Global. Labubu didn't stay in Asia for long. It transcended borders almost instantly. First, the toy broke out across Hong Kong, Taiwan, Thailand, Malaysia, and beyond. Fans queued overnight for drops. Stores sold out within minutes. Social media flooded with unboxing videos. Then came the influencers. On TikTok and Instagram, curated Labubu unboxings transformed into content spectacles. Shaky hands, dramatic reveals, triumphant reactions when secret editions appeared, comments and shares skyrocketed. Labubu wasn't just a collectible, it became viral entertainment. Soon, Western audiences were hooked. Pop Mart capitalized by launching stores and vending machines in the US, UK, Australia, and Europe. Each new drop generated long lines, flash mobs, live streamers, and more sellouts. But the real game changer? Celebrity endorsements. The moment Lisa from Blackpink was photographed with a Labubu charm dangling from her luxury handbag, global attention followed. Soon after, Rihanna was seen flaunting a Labubu plush on the streets of New York. Dua Lipa, Kim Kardashian, and even actress Emma Roberts showed off Labubu accessories, turning the toy into an unexpected high-fashion statement. Style icon Marc Jacobs was spotted with a custom Labubu AirPod case, blending streetwear with designer flair. Even David Beckham and Cher joined in, adding Labubu figures to their wardrobes like signature pieces of jewelry. And just like that, Labubu wasn't just a collectible, it was a celebrity-endorsed cultural icon. With every sighting, its desirability grew. Fans began curating entire rooms around their collections. Shelves turned into shrines. The toy, once reserved for niche conventions, was now a mainstream status symbol. collectors began showcasing their rare figures alongside sneakers, Funko Pops, and NFTs. Entire rooms were curated around Labubu memorabilia. Influencers and celebrities reinforced the idea. Owning Labubu signified exclusivity, taste, and belonging. What Pop Mart has really shipped isn't just merchandise, it's behavioral design. The product, the scarcity, the dopamine, the global celebrity cachet. It all converged, becoming a viral blueprint for obsession. Across continents, Labubu triggered the same addictive mechanisms: mystery, scarcity, social validation. In the selfie age, even a tiny 3-inch gremlin could wield global influence. Because once celebrities prove it's cool, the rest follow, and Labubu is laughing all the way to the bank. This isn't a story about a toy. It's about how companies figured out how to sell emotion, identity, and addiction, and make billions doing it. Labubu isn't unique. It's just the latest and most polished version of a business model that's been evolving for decades. Beanie Babies were the prototype. They created mass panic by accident. Labubu took that chaos and packaged it, refined it, perfected it, because now they don't need luck. They've got a blueprint: create mystery, manufacture scarcity, tie ownership to identity, make collecting feel like a quest, then sit back and watch the frenzy unfold. And the scariest part? It works. It works on children, on adults, on influencers, on celebrities. It works across languages, borders, and cultures. Because the same brain chemistry that drives slot machines drives Labubu too. So the next time you see a cute little figure with sharp teeth and a cheeky smile, remember, that grin isn't innocent. It's part of the plan.